a little after 7, and I'm calling the Utility Committee meeting for February 3rd to order, and our first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I'm going to open it up to public comment. Anyone? No, no public tonight, so no public comment. And I did want, before we get to some administrative stuff, I wanted to ask anybody, I did get word from Lynn Wiles, who was our former chair, that he was willing to move to the Sewer and Solid Waste Committee, subcommittee, because we were short a member, because Ann Fenn, who was on that committee, did resign from that committee. And
A while ago. Yeah.
yes, so we're short a member on that, so it's hard to get a quorum sometimes. And so Lynn, I said, that's great, we would like to have you on board with that committee. But I wanted to open it up to all of you to see if any of you, I want to keep the committees to at least 4 or 5 members the way they are now, but I'd like to know if anybody really wants to change their subcommittees. Ray,
What?
are you happy with your subcommittee
Yes.
appointments?
Yes.
Okay. Mike,
I'm good.
you're good.
I'm-
Jeff?
I'm good.
Are you
I'm
sure?
pretty excited about it.
Well, I'm
Did you
embarrassed to
curb your
say.
enthusiasm?
Well, I'm embarrassed to say that the only subcommittee that I'm aware that I'm a member of is the water subcommittee. So if
Okay.
I'm on another subcommittee, I have not attended the meetings. I went to one energy meeting.
Okay, well, there is,
Oh, John has the
Yeah.
list.
The secretary takes care of that kind
Okay,
of
I'm on
stuff.
the water.
you might be on cable.
I think.
Okay, I'm on the cable and internet. I like that one.
Sure are.
Yes, I am very happy with my.
John makes people happy.
And one reason why Lynn had sort of agreed, and I pushed him a little bit, is because cable hasn't not been that active a committee since we began. Not saying that it won't become very active, but we really needed another member on sewer and solid waste, and he was more than willing. So I hope that's okay with you, John.
Absolutely. And I was actually going to bring this up. That's why I brought my little chart and everything.
Okay.
So, question, and my apologies to John M. I forgot you're a full-time member.
A full-time employee.
Is Lynn now an alternate?
Yes.
So Lynn is an
Yes.
alternate?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. And that was basically the only change, right? Okay,
Yes.
good. So, yes, and then later on, I'll talk a little about cable, the request you gave, and I get a little status on that. Okay, good.
That sounds good. Ann, are you satisfied
I'm
with just
fine.
being on water?
Yep.
Yes.
I'm satisfied, but would like to get a list of all the committees and people's names.
I can send that around. That'd be great.
Yeah, that is on the website too.
It is actually.
It is
On the town
Okay,
website,
I've looked there.
but we can get you a copy of it.
So except
Joy,
Lynn's gonna be moved.
I'm great.
You're great, okay, very good. I just didn't want to switch anybody around without giving everybody the opportunity to do that. So the next administrative matter I would like to handle is, I would like to get a approval of the minutes, and a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting. John did send them recently. I don't know if you all had a chance to read them. I think that you did read them. So can I have a motion?
Before that, Paul gave me one correction. It was about the visit to the dairy site. I reported that, Mike reported that he, Paul, and Lynn visited the dairy solar facility. Paul told me he was on a binge and couldn't make it. Or something like that. So I'll make that last change if everybody's okay with that.
And you have to correct Ms. Mesmer's spelling of her
I
name.
do not know how to spell her name.
Well, I sent it to you today.
Thank you. I'm sure she does.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes
thank you.
as
Motion
amended.
from Paul, can I have a second? Second from John, thank you very much. The minutes are approved.
We have
Get
to
a
vote,
vote.
Madam. All in favor?
Oh,
Just get a vote.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no.
All in favor of approving the minutes of our last meeting on January 6th, I believe it was?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? I'll pull it, Ron Dunn. Chair votes in the affirmative.
Wow. I deserve that. That was good. That was good.
Ray is an alternate, also votes in the affirmative.
Oh, that was good. I like that.
Thank you.
Oh.
Okay, the master plan update, that is, do we have a master plan this Thursday, do you know?
Me?
Yes, I'm asking you if you know. Okay, I'm not sure.
Don't, so I don't have a master plan steering committee meeting on the calendar right now. I think the next time the master plan is meeting is when they're doing a presentation to the planning board tomorrow. Is that what you mean?
That might be what
Then
I'm.
yes, you do
okay.
have one.
Okay,
That's
okay,
exactly
but
what she meant.
Yes, they're presenting at the planning board meeting tomorrow.
the draft master plan has been completed. You can find it, I believe, maybe it might not be totally be online now, but
no,
I
it-
think it is. It is?
Please, let me show you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm gonna-
This is very helpful.
My apologies. I'm in like a really punchy mood tonight, so
good.
just bear with me. So if you go to the Master Plan Steering Committee website, you'll see right here on the top, Master Plan Public Comment Period now open.
Yep.
You have the link to the full draft, the link to the appendices, and the link to the form where you can provide comment. Here's the link to the agenda for the February 4th Planning Board meeting, and another link to the online form, and more links to the draft master plan. This is also under the news feed on the homepage, and you can also find all these links on our Facebook page several times.
And there's a 30-day response period for the master plan, so I
Yes.
urge you all to go take a look at it. It is a, I would say it's a high view of what we want to accomplish. It doesn't get into the weeds, but I think it's a pretty good document. And I'll have more to say about that once the planning board hears it and whether or not they adopt that master plan.
Excuse me, they won't be adopting it at the February 4th meeting, will they?
No, it's just gonna be
Oh,
presented
yeah,
to
right.
the planning board, and then they're gonna be open for that period of
Yeah,
time
right,
to make comments, town to make
I believe they
comments.
have to hear back from whoever wants to comment.
Yes, they definitely do. So that's as much as I have on master plan. And I'm sorry that I didn't have all those dates down pat. The town staff, Kirsten, do you have things that you want to add?
Yeah, we got a couple of things. So you already talked about the master plan, which is exciting. And if you all look back and look at your notes and see anything that you wanted included in the master plan but didn't make it in there, we can definitely talk about that for strategic plan. I don't have anything for strategic plan for this week. This is budget week and it's a lot. So we're going to be talking about strategic plan one last time in March at your meeting, if you so choose, before we go into the public workshops in April, and then a public hearing in front of the council in May. Right now, that's scheduled for the second meeting in May, and we have 2 dates. We had 2 dates in April for the public workshops, but they're gonna have to be adjusted now because of space considerations. So I'll get you those dates as soon as we have them too. We had a great strategic plan workshop with the public that Martha was at, and Joy was at as well, and Ray. Actually, really good turnout, guys. Nice job. On last Saturday, and we have another one coming up on, I believe it's March 20th, but I'd have to double check that. In the evening. So we got a couple more input sessions for the strategic plan.
Could we possibly have some before that, for the general public, because these are gonna be voted on, right? The strategic plan, yes?
By the,
Aren't they on? the
no,
ballot?
the strategic plan is not on the warrant, no.
Okay,
No, the strategic plan is a document that, it's the council's strategic plan, right? So our job is to do the work, and then the council decides what priorities they want to adopt. So we're doing the labor. That's what we get paid for. And then the council sets your priorities and your policy. So they'll take a look at that. So it's not on the warrant, no.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if it needs clarification on the warrants for the voters.
I don't think it would because it's not anywhere connected to the ballot at all.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's completely separate from the ballot. And anybody who goes to the sessions, they hear what Sean has to say about the place of the strategic plan, how it kind of is connected but different from the master plan and everything, so.
And those are recorded when he,
No, we did, so that was a great question. We deliberately are not, I'm taking notes and taking down what's said, and I actually, the past couple ones, I've put them up so people can see what I'm writing as I write it. That's because we don't want to necessarily color people's thoughts in advance. So if we recorded it or broadcast it, we want people's kind of authentic ideas, their own ideas. We want them coming with what's inside them for thoughts rather than kind of selecting which ones they feel the most, you know what I mean? Rather than kind of saying, yes, this one. We want people to kind of brainstorm themselves
Right.
and bring those thoughts. When this is all said and done, all those notes, we can make all those public. There's no reason we wouldn't. But right now, it's simply because we want people coming into it kind of tabula rasa, right? So we get the best possible and widest possible opinions.
that's right. Okay.
Since Lynn's not here tonight, I will mention something about the Freedom Energy Community Aggregation. We're looking at a date of March 7th for the public information session. We were originally looking to try and have it in this room, but after the Water Town Hall, which I'm not going to, you have that on the agenda later, so I'm going to hold off on speaking about that. After the turnout there, I don't think there's a universe where this room would be big enough for the community aggregation. So the cafeteria is available on March 7th. Freedom Energy is available on March 7th. So I think that's enough. If I can get, can I just see who would be available Saturday, March 7th to go to that?
In the
do you
morning
think?
or like in the afternoon?
In the morning. Maybe? You're not around, right, Ron?
In the morning, I will not be.
Okay.
Not in the morning.
Okay.
I'm probably working.
Okay. All right. But a good number of you would be able to be there? Okay, cool.
Will they also have an evening session, though, of that?
No, there's really just one public information session, one big one, and then they'll take public information the other ways as well. They'll answer questions other ways, but that's going to be the big one where they're going to answer questions. And we'll figure out some way that people can submit questions if they can't make it and everything. And that one, we will record. That is a recorded one. That is
Okay.
yeah. So just like the previous water town halls where it was about speaking and answering questions,
Correct.
like to a whole group, it will be recorded.
Okay. As long as it will get out to
Yeah.
everybody or as many as
Yeah,
possible.
so March 7th, all right, so I'm gonna roll forward with that then and book that. And yeah, that's the bulk of what I have this time
Do
around.
you know what time it might start?
I'm thinking probably 10. I would block out 10 to 12 on it, that's what I'm blocking out.
Yep.
And then I'll confirm that with Kristen from Freedom Energy Logistics tomorrow. And then we'll move forward on getting that in the books so they can get that date on their mailers and everything. But I confirmed with the school that the cafeteria was available that day, which is the hardest thing to get is the cafeteria. So if it works for all those other kind of external ones and it works for a lot of you, I think that's probably best.
What time do their lunches start over there? Don't they start?
Saturday, the 7th is a Saturday.
Oh, it's the 7th, Saturday.
Yeah, 7th
sorry,
is a
sorry.
Saturday, yeah, so,
Okay.
yeah. That's why we're doing it in the morning, because it's a Saturday. Yeah, so I think that's everything I have for you this week. I'm going to turn it over to James, because he has some updates for you on things that we spoke about before.
I don't have nearly as much as Kirsten did, but so one of the things that you guys asked me to take a quick look at was possibility of solar out back here on the in those fields. So those properties are in fact owned by the FAA. I think we all know that. And I touched base with the FAA, and it actually appears that it's much more doable than I had originally thought. That spaceship, I think, is what
Yeah,
people call it
that's
out
what we call
back,
it, yeah.
is no longer in service, and it's not plan to be in service for the foreseeable future. So there's a 2 or 3 step process that the FAA would require you to go through. One is a project assessment, and then that kicks you into a land resources department to kind of work through whatever leasing rights might occur. So following that, I then had a meeting with Kearsarge Energy, is another firm that does solar. Somebody Manchester had dealt with, and I had seen a presentation on a few years back at a conference. I reconfirmed up on Auburn Road that site wasn't doable because three-phase power is just too far away. It's cost prohibitive. So same result. They did a quick little analysis saying, yeah, it's just cost prohibitive. Then they went down and took a look at this site, and again, it's much more doable. The question is, how would a third-party lease even begin to work? How would we sublet the property? It's quickly becoming very, very complicated. So, pending the desires of this panel, I would continue to explore that a little bit more and kind of see just how feasible that might be, and what the advantage might be. As it relates to the power company themselves or the solar company themselves, we would be required to sign on for, say, a 20-year lease. Within the bounds of that 20-year lease, you have they pay a lease payment, but they also offer the town a discount on power rates. I think they told me the average is on the order of 10%. With those two factors alone, the question is to me quite obvious. Well, if you have a usable piece of land and we're tying it up for 20 years, a lease payment and a discounted rate doesn't really seem like that good of a deal, which is why ultimately landfills are ideal, because you're never going to use them again. They're just kind of sitting there. So that's again, that's a second avenue to kind of explore what the deal might actually be and how the town might benefit from that. And again, third-party lease, I couldn't even begin to understand how that might work just yet. So if, the desires to have me kind of probe that a little bit more, certainly I can do so.
So are you talking about leasing the land and then having the energy company come and put the solar on it? So we're paying the lease and for the power? Or could you just sign a power purchase agreement and then agree to buy power for X number of years, or?
That's exactly what I'm trying to kind of ascertain as to whether or not this is even doable.
Okay.
And yes, ultimately the town would be the leaseholder on the land, but then would the FAA even allow us to sublet it to a third party? I have no idea. And then taking the town out of the equation, does the solar company even need us? Could they just go to, FAA directly and put up their solar field with no consideration or payment to the town?
Well, if the town could sign I've done this kind of work before, but if the town could sign a 20-year power purchase agreement and say, we'll buy all your solar for 20 years,
right,
that makes it easy for them to finance the project. So there's value to the developer to say that, this. There's value to the developer to say that we're going to buy your power for 20 years, then they can get a bank to write a check. It becomes easy to finance. Mm-hmm. So,
Well, you have that FAA also involved.
Right, but if the developer, I'm trying to understand why we need to lease the land and then lease it to the developer. Is there?
You may not need to.
Yeah, that's, are we creating a step that we don't necessarily need to have that step?
Again, I'm still,
It's in process.
very,
Yeah, sorry.
I'm very, very, very green here. Power is not my thing.
Sure.
So I'm quickly learning how things are going here. So
I think Lynn could help us out in that regard.
Yeah,
He
and-
certainly has a lot more knowledge than we do.
Right.
And I just have a question, and that is, the acreage out here is considerable,
Yep.
okay?
Yep.
And as a matter of fact, I believe the Recreation Committee actually uses part of the property. And I have a question as to who actually owns the property, okay?
Property is
Because I-
actually
I've looked
owned
at
by
that
the FAA.
before,
Yep.
And I found out that a third party actually owns that, okay? And leases it to the FAA. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but I think we need to find that out.
Well, based on our records and our system, the FAA actually owns the property.
How many acres is it?
It's 2 parcels,
Well-
and I believe it's on the order of 24 acres, and if I'm not mistaken, there
yeah.
might actually be a baseball diamond, one on either parcel.
Oh, yeah, I think
right.
there's 2, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I can give you a call. I've worked on hundreds of millions of dollars of renewable energy projects.
Yeah,
very
I'd be,
similar to
I'd
this.
be absolutely willing to kind of learn how that might work and,
Yeah,
you
I'll
know,
absolutely
probe that a
give you
little
a
bit
call.
more.
I think that our energy subcommittee, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you're on that committee, and Paul, you too.
Yeah, those-
Would be interested in looking into this to getting some kind of real handle on it. So I would say yes. And, you know, Jeff will work with you or
Yeah.
Paul, whatever.
Yeah, we'll-
Absolutely.
We're still very
Do
interested.
you have access to maps of the property and all that?
Yep.
You could send that to us, that'd be helpful.
Yep.
Nice.
Okay?
Can I ask, in your discussions with the FAA, did you broach the possibility of acquiring the land itself from the FAA?
I did not, but my sense is that they would not cough up that land. It's the location of the equipment is strategic related to the actual airport, so,
Even though they're not using
They're
it?
not using it.
correct.
They hold
Even
it,
though
I
they're
think we
not
need to look
using
at
it, that
that.
doesn't
they'll
mean,
hold it for future use. That's-
it doesn't mean they won't have a use for it in the future, you know, it's kind of one of those things that, you know, if you have a strategic piece of
Well,
land, why would you
I think we
sell it?
need to have that discussion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I mean, that could
I
be
could-
all part of it, but
Yeah.
they're interested in researching that. All these big parcels they're interested in, and they want to figure out what we can possibly do with it.
I'm reminded of the rail trail, which is owned by the state of New Hampshire, and yet we run up and down it all the time.
Correct.
Can we put pickleball courts?
Right.
And we do it through an agreement with the state.
Federal government's just a touch different, but
Same process, though. Both the
I'll
state has a
happily
lands
ask the
committee.
question, although I was wrong before when I said, don't even think about asking, and it seems they are willing to listen, so, who
Probably
knows,
your
maybe they're
powers of
willing to
persuasion.
listen about acquisition, so how, just for the sake of discussion, how would that acquisition work?
We don't know right now.
Yeah, I think we're not quite to the point of where
Not-
we could have a conversation, because at that point, we're dealing with purchasing and the council and, yeah.
Absolutely.
But I think beginning a relationship is an excellent, excellent first step, and the work that James has done has been pretty darn impressive, so,
And you've
Absolutely.
got some resources
yeah.
here.
Yeah, don't worry, we're used to moving at government pace.
And you're very used to me saying, hold on, wait a second.
We know how to do our homework, too.
Yeah.
The other thing that I looked at, John, you were touching base on solid waste and in relation specifically to pet waste. So I kind of chased that down and spoke to the town clerk, and, you know, she loves the idea of getting the word out. But I got a question, how is this pet waste information that you're working on relate to this committee or solid waste, if you don't mind educating me?
Well, solid waste, pet waste falls sort of as a subset of that, I would suggest. And then some of the material that you've brought, I read the documents that you sent along to us, makes it a little bit more interesting because, we were looking at it strictly from the point of view of a small, almost a side little project for the solid waste committee. We deal with recycling and all that kind of stuff. But this is even more interesting because it has some bang for some of the reports that you have to get involved with, that I frankly need you to educate us on, in terms of what the impact would be. But there are some educational requirements related to controlling pet waste, and keeping it out of the stormwater from what you sent me.
Yeah.
So that's basically the relationship.
Is there a larger, more broad topic, beyond, say, pet waste, in the solid waste handling world? It seems that it's such a small subset. I'm still kind of trying to understand how that specific item.
By the
No, that's
applies.
just one of
By the-
many items that
Right.
that we discuss.
By the way, we're working with a company right now with a biodigester, and manure is digestible, okay?
Not in my body, it's
okay,
not.
So whether we use cat waste, I don't know, maybe we even shouldn't think about that, but you have a farm
Yep,
with horses,
yep.
cows, that can go in a biodigester and be broken down into methane. Now, I'm not saying that's something necessarily we're going to get into, but you can learn something from that,
Yeah,
okay? So the pet waste thing is a little smaller.
That's a,
That's just citizens, that have pet waste and want to do, what do they want to do with it, to break it down?
The question is, at the end of the day, it ends up in trash cans and goes to landfills.
Correct.
And one of our, frankly, we're going to talk a little bit about, strategic plan input from the Solid Waste Committee. One of the things we talked about was reducing stuff going into the landfills. But this is something we actually do want to go there, as opposed to folks leaving it on the side of the road or whatever happens to it. So we saw it, frankly, as low-hanging fruit.
okay.
yes, exactly.
I think it's probably the best way to look at
Bad
it.
choice of words.
Yeah.
Probably
tell-
Bad choice of
Smaller
words.
Tell
subset.
James the other things that we're dealing with in sewer and solid waste subcommittee.
Yeah, right now, we're talking about ways to reduce input to landfills through composting and some other kinds of programs, and this sort of stemmed from that a
Okay.
little bit, Ultimately, not to beat this to death, but ultimately, I think what we need to do is just chat a little bit, come up with a final document that we can share electronically or otherwise. I saw that one of your piece of correspondence talked about things that we can do to hand these out, and then keeping a count on them for your purposes,
Yep.
for your reporting purposes. Perhaps something innovative. I saw, I don't know how many veterinarians there are in Londonderry, but is this something we should bring to their attention and get them on board with? And that's certainly something that a committee like Solid Waste could assist in.
I cannot take credit for that. The town clerk's office had that one. They just kind of rattled it off as I was asking for ideas of how to, continue on outreach and education. How about we deliver a handful to vets? I'm like, that is an amazing idea. I had never even thought about that before, and I've been dealing with this for years.
Beyond that, it started talking to Sherry about, did she have a master list of all the registered dog owners in town, and how could we correspond to them directly? And I believe she has, and
Yep.
and then we just need to give her something to send. A couple of documents you shared, James, were perhaps a little too technical, but we could kind of boil that down to something that somebody can kind of scan in a minute or two and get some impact out of.
Yeah, correct. And the EPA one was as about as simple as it gets. That one it's a very simple graphic that's easily taken in just a couple of seconds. Don't put your pet waste down the drain; it ends up in your drinking water. That kind of thing. And then the other one that I have that I developed in my other place of employment. That was a nice one to have. I'd like to tune that one up a bit and kind of supplement our own, and then getting that word out. They were actually quite excited about it. It was nice.
And then I'm done, Madam Chair. We're made a contact, Joy did, at the high school for some folks that are students that are interested in working on graphic arts projects. And so if we can get our facts together, that might be a project that we could bring to them to do the project, and then they get something out of it and we get something out of it.
Sure.
I would love to know all of those people too. All of those people who are interested in doing graphic arts.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
just
yeah.
a note there. So, yeah.
Yeah.
We have a lot of work around here. I'm
I
just
think an
saying.
emoji will work for some of that. Okay, moving on, I'm going to get to the subcommittee discussions. I just want to preface this because Lynn is not here. He did send me some information. This Thursday, February 5th at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, Freedom Energy is coming to our cable studio, and they're going to be filming basically what's going on with the aggregation plan and what our plan is going forward with that. And anybody who would like to attend from this committee can attend that. It's at 3 p.m. on Thursday afternoon, and that's with Freedom Energy. And then also, he said that they're working on the website and he said that that would be up by the end of this week, which would contain more information on that aggregation plan that hopefully we'll be doing for April 1st. Okay, so with that being said from Lynn, do my energy people have anything else that they would like to add?
Can I just ask a question?
Sure.
Then, if it's ready by April 1st, does that mean people would sign up April 1st or the month of April?
Nobody's going to
or-
sign up. All Eversource customers who are residents of Londonderry who are Eversource customers are going to be on this. And then they're going to have to opt out of this plan.
Automatically be
Yeah,
So they're
okay,
going to
enrolled in the
automatically,
program.
okay, all righty.
that's how it's going to
That's
work.
when
And
it rolls
hopefully,
out. Okay,
we're going to
great.
get that, but everybody's going to be opt-in. Everybody's going to be in.
Right,
If they're
unless they
Eversource,
opt
if you're
out.
not an Eversource customer and you've already gone to another energy company, or you're fully solar or whatever, then you're not part of this.
Got it.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay.
I worked up a schema to do the GIS analysis that we talked about at our last meeting to identify some solar, potential solar installation sites. And I sent that to Mike Bazigian, our GIS manager, and I'm waiting for his reaction to it. And Paul has got the wheels in motion to get the three-phase lines into a GIS format. So when those two things come together, we should be able to start that analysis and see what pops up.
That is excellent.
And
The,
I confirmed tonight, the town, the software the town uses for GIS is Esri. And that is the same software that is used at Eversource.
Oh,
So that helps in the, hopefully, transfer of information.
great. The other thing that I would say that maybe one of you should talk to somebody on the planning board, because my understanding is that there is a project before the planning board now that is going to be a large-scale PUD-type community on Auburn Road where the sand and gravel pit was, which would, if that goes in, they're going to need power in there. Do you know anything about this, Mike?
Well, I know it's on the list of Conservation Commission targets, so between losing that and the orchard, who knows what's going on? But I don't know anything about.
Right, but, as, if that goes forward, which I think it's somehow in some kind of process, that is a lot closer to the Auburn Road landfill, and they're gonna have to get power there somehow. I would just be curious as to what somebody on the planning board might say to you.
Jimmy, what is that? Who's going in there? Oh, you
Um,
heard?
It's a very new project that's just been, it was introduced a while ago before the planning board, and I don't know what that stage it's at, Ray.
Well, do you know who it is?
No, I don't. I'm not on the planning board. But it's where the sand and gravel operation was at the end of Auburn Road.
Well, there was a big gravel operation on the other side of the Superfront site.
That's correct. That's the one I'm
Okay,
talking
is
about.
that one you're talking about?
Yes.
Well, that one's been before the planning board for a huge development.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Oh, okay,
That's exactly what I said.
yeah, okay, I misunderstood. I thought you meant the Superfront site.
No, but I meant I think that that's a lot closer
Does it have to?
in terms of three-phase power. You know, they're going to have to bring some kind of power to that community.
Well, if it gets improved.
If it gets approved, exactly, but
Yeah.
that's why I think that talking to them might be beneficial, just to get a handle on where it might be, and could we maybe piggyback a little bit?
Well,
Well, if that development goes in, they would go right by the transfer station, which makes the transfer station a lot more feasible for a solar site at that point.
Yeah, exactly, that's what I'm thinking,
And if they pay for it, then
yeah,
we come in afterwards.
Yeah.
right.
would, Paula,
This
would
says transfer
Eversource
station?
be interested
And
in
landfill.
helping us out in that regard?
I need more specifics to,
Yeah,
I would need more specifics to go to them and say,
yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely need more information. I'm just saying that they have something in the works that could be,
this is a private development and it's a whole other ballgame. If it's a public development, it's a whole other ballgame, so you gotta have more specifics.
yes, okay, well, I don't know enough about that power going to private or public, I don't know enough about it. But if it was coming right by, it would be nice to be able to utilize some of it, if they even use three-phase power.
It's not gonna happen overnight.
No, it's not gonna happen for a long time, but it's out there. Okay, anything else about energy that we want to talk about? Okay, then moving on, we'll move on to water, and we have quite a bit to talk about water, and I'm going to preface a water, that we did have our water town hall, and it was very successful, and I want to, preliminarily, I want to thank very much Ray and Kirsten for the planning that went into making that a very successful evening, and all the other water subcommittee members who attended and were also very helpful to making that event a great success. And then I'm going to turn it over to Jeff and John to tell us a little more about that evening.
Yep. Reiterating what Martha said, great success. I had hoped for 20 to 30 people to show up, and we had, I think, 125-ish. So it was just phenomenal. We had a lot of really good questions. We sent out not flyers, but like handouts to people to have them write down questions. And then we had, I felt like an hour and a half-ish of people asking questions.
Of the tables.
At the tables,
Yes.
correct.
Right.
I did a sort of an informal survey of the specialists that we had, asking what the biggest question was or what people were asking. And, you know, informally, it was, when is my street gonna be worked on? You know, when do I get water? You know, that's just asking, hey, what was the biggest question? What's nice is we had several people, I had 4 people just come up to me and say, hey, I wanna help, I wanna get involved, what can I do to help? We had one guy that was, I think, a biochemist or
Yeah.
Hayne Marmoy.
Marmoy, really bright guy, met a nice young high school reporter who said she wanted to get involved as a volunteer for the utility committee, which was great.
She was very, very up on PFAS, PFOA, she knew a
Smart
lot
young lady.
about it.
Yeah, very smart young lady.
Really?
kmeaththekid@gmail.com. I have some questions for Kirsten
Yep.
about that.
Yep.
So, can I finish? I'll get the
We have, John has several sheets of contacts for people that we can follow up. We can build a little database of mailers that we can start sending out information. Next steps for the water subcommittee is gonna be outreach for the special assessment districts. That's gonna, and what was nice is we, sort of outlined, the work that would be involved with that for, people volunteering, how it has to be going door to door, and it's gonna just be a lot of shoe leather work. I had about 4 or 5 people volunteer. I was like, yeah, I'd love to help. Whether or not they strap on and engage, we'll figure it out.
Write their names
We
down
have
and
it,
get
we
them?
have them written
Good.
down, but, so it was a phenomenal success. The gating issue for that is gonna be the election that we have coming up, so make sure to vote. Next thing we have, is special assessment districts. We're thinking about Ray's working on this, ways to help, provide some recommendations to think about strategy for outreach and grants and stuff. We'll do some thinking on it. We'll look at it as a water committee, and then we'll look at it as a utility committee. And if it's, what I would call in my work, client ready, as in it's good, it's professional, and it looks good, we'll share it with the town leadership. Just as ideas on how to do the outreach.
Love it.
Questions, we have Ann still working on the question on the quality of water coming out of the Pennachuck Water Plant, which, a couple phone calls.
Yeah, I got a few questions.
Yep, to-dos. So I have a to-do. We have a lot of stuff going on in water, so I need to take an hour-ish and just create a spreadsheet of these are the projects we're working on, and I have it in my head, but that my head is not a spreadsheet, so that's something I have to do between now and 2 weeks from now with the next water meeting.
When is the next water meeting?
It'll be the second Saturday after this meeting, so it's, I think, the 14th, thank you.
February 14th.
Yep. So not this coming Saturday, but like 12 days from today or whatever. it is.
Right, that's Valentine's Day.
It'll be a party in the town compound that day, because there's the utilities committee meeting, there's a candidate meet and greet in here that was scheduled for the library, and there's the teddy bear clinic. So when you show up, anticipate parking being actually at a premium on a Saturday, so you're not weirded out. That's all.
And make sure to wear your red because it is going to be Valentine's Day.
Yeah, well, that's it.
So, and again, a takeaway, I'm going to repeat what Martha said. Thank you to everybody. It was great. Thank you to Kirsten. I think she deserves a round of applause. And Ray. It was
Ray and I put up posters all over the town.
yeah,
Did.
yeah, it was a great
You guys
success.
saw them at stores and stuff. Right.
And I would ask the water people to think a little bit. I should have asked, I was planning on doing this the day after the event, and I neglected it. Put some thinking between now and the water meeting on what was good, what was bad, what we could do better at the next event, and just think about it and
I
write.
thought about-
Yeah.
I do have a couple questions on it,
Yeah.
if I could bring them up now.
10 seconds.
Because-
Right, 10 seconds, real quick. But everybody gets.
You want 10 seconds.
No, I want 10 seconds.
Oh,
And then
okay.
it's your,
And
then it's your floor.
so
then
fast.
you only get 5. So.
Then it's your floor. But the water committee, write down your ideas of, this was good, this was bad, this is what we should change next time. And then send it in and we'll collect it, and that way we will be a little smarter for the next event. And it's your table.
I just
your
have 2 comments, actually. One is we had the 2 pages of areas where people could write down their questions, but we never took their questions and gave it to somebody to ask the questions and answer the questions. So I guess I felt that it would have been really useful to have a Q&A. We had the talking heads, but we didn't really have a Q&A afterwards. So in the general session, everybody could hear what the questions were and learn something possibly from other people's questions and the responses back.
Yep.
And I guess the other thing I was thinking about was that we didn't really discuss exactly what the problems were, what the issues were. We didn't say, folks with private wells, you're not regulated at all. Nobody's really overseeing your water. If you have municipal water, then you are being regulated by the state and by EPA. The water's being assessed every month. They're taking samples of the water. And this is why we think it's better for you to potentially move into municipal water. And so we didn't really go into that. So we didn't give them an explanation as to what the problem is.
Yeah, and I definitely can understand. The focus of this one had been to have people walk around and talk to different tables.
Yeah.
So you kind of have an either or for this. You either have speakers or you have that kind of table format. We don't have.
You
yeah.
can do questions.
You certainly can, but not with the amount of time that we had. So the emphasis, the genesis was when Ray came up with it, he wanted people to be able to talk to people and ask them questions.
Right.
One-on-one. And so that was this event. I 100% think that those events where you can ask questions in a group are great. That just, and I think in the future, that's 100% there. And so I definitely think it's awesome.
I just
Yeah.
think this would have been a good opportunity to do that because we had so many people there. And given even 15 minutes for Q&A, something like that I think would have been helpful. And I have some questions afterwards and something that we learned about the main pipe that was put in recently on Old Dairy Road. That was actually put in by the town of Derry.
Two different lines.
That's
Two
a
different lines.
That's a whole different project. It's part of the Southern New Hampshire Water Corridor. So that one is not Pennachuck. That is a connection between Manchester and Derry system. Yeah. And so it's part of a larger state project.
Which is interesting because the folks who are along there actually live in Derry. You go up that hill and you go up Old Derry Road, and a lot of the people the addresses are Londonderry. And so when I went to DES folks and said, guys, I don't understand this. How come Derry is putting in a main water line in Londonderry? Why would they do that? Why wouldn't they do that in Derry rather than Londonderry? What's in it for them to put in a main water line that isn't directed towards their
That was
residents?
because of the corridor engineering design, the shortest point to get to Salem.
John,
and
can you,
things like that.
Mike,
Yes,
please?
that
Thank
was
you.
done because of construction stuff, the shortest point. Before I got involved with this committee, I was hoping we would jump in with that, but that was all monies given to them to make the connection. It's just like a private water company, Policy Well, for example, making their own system. They can go from Londonderry to Derry to Wyndham, and that's the way it is. They can do that.
But they aren't going down any of the side streets to the neighborhoods so that people can hook up to
No,
that water.
so again, this project is part of a larger statewide connectivity project.
Yeah.
They are not going to build out into those neighborhoods. That's not what that project is. Now that the main exists, and we do have one of
And
those
it's
12
big.
projects.
The pipes were
Yeah.
huge.
Yep, so,
Think of it as an expressway. They
Yeah.
haven't
Oh,
done the,
yeah,
they haven't done the exit ramps yet.
so the town can opt to, the town and neighborhoods, we can opt to build off, and we do even have one of those as one of our 12 neighborhoods, finishing the connectivity in Lorden Commons, which is partially connected, has supply issues, has contamination issues. So, but the rest of that off of Old Derry Road is, they put curb stops along Old Derry Road, but anything off
Fire
of that
hydrants.
is the town's responsibility, yes, to do. So that project was separate from the town, it didn't use town funds.
Yeah.
But if we want to build out into the neighborhoods, that would fall under a town project. So that's why they're not building into the neighborhoods. The purpose of that is to move water throughout the state, basically. Like John said, it's a water expressway. So,
Interesting.
Is that water, though, Derry Water? Is that the Derry Water Company?
it's between Manchester Water Works and the town of Derry Water System, yes.
Okay, so if we were to build out to those neighborhoods, those people would be
Dairy customers,
dairy customers.
yes.
Okay.
That's why,
Even
I don't
though
know if you know, like you had, at the Watertown Hall, you had Penachuk talking about 11 of the projects and John and James talking about the last one because they were kind of serving as a spokesperson for that.
So
So-
if they're dairy customers, are they able to use the opportunity to use the special assessment
Oh, yeah.
money, the tax, so that,
If they have, so in this initial special assessment district, any of the homes on Old Dairy Road that have a curb stop put in through this would be on that list for that first district. So they'll get outreach, so. And there's no, yeah, the special assessment district is town, not linked to a specific water system.
project?
Yeah,
Okay.
not specific a water system. Because as you know, we have 3 serving Londonderry, and so it's not dependent upon which water system you're on. Obviously, most of the expansion is going to come under the umbrella of Penachuk,
Right.
but there's a couple of notches in town where it won't, or it would connect between Penachuk and a different system.
There.
And in this case, it's that connection is between Manchester Waterworks and Derry. And where it falls in that is dependent upon the franchise agreement between Manchester Waterworks and Derry. They have a franchise agreement between them because they're municipal water systems. That's different, they're different, regulated slightly differently than the larger water companies that are regulated by the PUC. So, without getting too into the weeds, they determine whose it is, but those customers that connect there will be Town of Derry customers.
I got 2 things.
It's
Water.
a little complicated.
It's definitely
It's
complicated.
definitely,
You gotta understand that Southern New Hampshire planning, I'm sorry, not Southern New Hampshire planning, the Southern New Hampshire Water District that feeds all these towns south of here, including Derry, by the way, comes out of Lake Massabesic, okay? That's one feed. This is an additional feed that comes down from Manchester and connects to Old Derry Road, but there's a break there. It's not connected. That's the connection they're going to make, which is going to make a second feed
Right.
for this water headed south, okay? Technically, I believe that's in Manchester's district, okay? Because some of it in northwestern, eastern Londonderry is Manchester water, not Penachuk water. However, the water that heads south
Right.
goes to Derry. That's the same water that goes down Rockingham Road.
So to answer the next question, why don't we do that? Well, fine. We could cut a deal with Manchester Waterworks, pay the money, lay our own pipeline, and connect to them. Yes, we could do that. Right. That's not going to happen, right?
I would be cautious about saying that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want,
No, I'm saying we wouldn't do that. That's what we wouldn't do.
unless we get a lot of extra money somewhere.
That discussion has already taken
Yeah.
place,
Exactly.
yeah,
but it hasn't gone anywhere.
right.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
I got
Appreciate
2
So-
other things. Water. I got 2 other things.
Okay, 2 other things for water. John?
Yes. This is a question for Kirsten. So we did have 2 people that contacted us. So we have a person from the high school, which is the paper editor, which is absolutely fantastic.
Yep.
I don't know who made that connection, but that is great.
Enjoy.
Katie
Right.
Sullivan, Ray and I met with Katie Sullivan and a couple of other teachers, and Katie is kind of putting the word out for, just that we're wanting to have connections with
She has
us,
some
so
great
it's
questions,
Yeah,
right?
it's great.
She is educated. I realize, though, there's like 2 decades of info that she doesn't know, so I referred her to the expert here. But what I want to know, Kirsten, is I did say to her that she can attend this meeting, any of the subcommittee meetings. My minutes are brief, that's not going to tell you too much, but you can watch the videos if you can't make the meetings. Is there any problem if I send her little tidbits like there's going to be a town hall? Things like that in reference to, okay, that's good. The next thing is, there was a gentleman named Haim, B-A-R-M-O-I, he's a chemist. He would like to get involved with the water stuff. I basically said the same to him, come to the meetings. Is
water
that-
committee, all these are public meetings.
Okay, that takes care of that. last but not least is, I did scan in all the people, the questions. And
I
one of
saw
the
that come
handouts.
through.
Now, do you want the originals?
No.
Okay, I am trying, I'll tell you why I want to keep the originals. I'm trying to OCR it, and what I'm trying to do is get this into a spreadsheet with their names, their email, and hopefully maybe their street addresses, and give that to you into a spreadsheet.
Love it.
Okay, I will try to, boy, some of people's writing, I can't even, never mind OCR, I can't even read it. So, that's it for water. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks, John.
thanks, John. Okay, sewer and solid waste.
That's me. We met on the 24th, and actually a lot of activity at this particular meeting. One, we agreed that we're going to submit 2 strategic plan ideas. Kirsten, I think the process we'd like to do is, we roughed it out at the meeting. I have to put a little polish on it. We'd like to fly it by you, just to see, and then bounce it one more time off the committee. I think we have time to do that, at least via email, but.
I'd also be happy to join you guys at the end of this month, too.
Okay.
I'm going to be here most Saturdays because of the activity in the buildings with the space needs, so I'd be happy to, if you want it. It's up to you, though.
Cool. The two strategic plans we're looking at, one revolved around reducing waste going into landfills with a primary focus on composting and perhaps going after the 25% of what goes to a landfill that's food waste. So, and the second will revolve around septic tank maintenance, because with everything going on with the sewer systems, we still have primarily a septic tank town. And we are talking about ways that we could educate our populace on maintaining their septic tanks, and what can we do. And again, Joy mentioned she met with the school, and we may have somebody over there that can help us put together some really hip videos, Snapchat, X, TikTok, YouTube, et cetera, so that we can communicate to folks in a way that they want to deal with things. So we also talked about compost education, getting more folks more involved in compost. We did have a commitment's too strong of a word, a discussion with the town manager about supporting our effort to put out backyard composting equipment. Joy did some work and identified both units that could be deployed in the backyard, and also countertop units where people could collect food waste. And we will need to kind of figure out exactly how we would go about this. Would we go buy these? The town manager at one point had suggested he had previously worked out a deal with, I believe it was a Home Depot, where they had a discount program in place for people to go buy them themselves, and we came up with a couple of other ideas. So the next step on that is to actually sit with Sean and talk a little bit about what the options could be and find out what works best in his mind in terms of providing equipment to folks that want to be, I would say, early adopters of composting in the backyard. This also will involve identifying additional drop-off sites. So one of the things that got put on me is to see, right now we have one drop-off site at Sunnycrest Farms for folks that want to drop off compost. Can we identify a couple of 3, based on the size of Londonderry, you don't want to drive all over town with your food waste in the back seat of your car. So ideally, we'd like to have a couple of drop-off points that are a little bit more conveniently located. So my task out of that is to go visit our friends at Max Apples and see if they'll step up and help us out with that. I think I had talked in this committee a little bit about Better Bin, which was an app for that people could put on their phone to determine whether something was recyclable or not. Very cool app. The technology is great. The folks are great. Unfortunately, the cost is great. Okay, it's about, for a town the size of Londonderry, it's $8,000 plus to put the app out, another $500 for a setup fee, and then there would be additional if we were going to look at adding a composting segment to the program. So our committee has decided to put that on the shelf for a period of time. Although we did have we do have a contact with somebody at Waste Management, and they've asked to take a look at this app without it making any promises, just to take a peek. And I think theirs would be a business decision. Could they improve Londonderry's execution of recycling, that is, putting the right stuff in the right bin, okay, sufficiently to justify an $8,000 expenditure? And that's a question. And that'll be a business question for them.
John, is that a one-time expense?
The $8,000 is a one-time expense. There's an annual expense of about $1,000. Okay, again, with a little plus, Mike, for if we were going to add a composting component. But the nice thing about this app is they will craft it to your particular situation. So, for example, in Lebanon, which is where the town manager came from, they don't do curbside pickup. Everything is done at a drop-off site, and so they with different bins for different things, and they were able to craft their version of the Better Bin app to deal with that. So, but again, that's on the back burner unless our friends from Waste Management want to pick it up and run with it for a while. Dog waste we beat to death. I'll leave that alone. We talked a little bit about the Southern New Hampshire Green Energy Campus, and as Ray brought up earlier, the company that's going in up there, and I believe they have proceeded through the process. I think they're through planning now, if I'm not mistaken. So there was a suggestion, I think, Martha, you've got this one, where we might invite somebody from that committee to see if they might, from that company, to see if they might be interested in coming in and talking to utilities, so that we can get a better understanding of what they plan to do. Joy talked a little bit about school contacts. I think we, and this has been a Ray topic too, we need to get more young people involved with our different committees, and it sounds like you're doing that over in water already, which is great. We need to do that, on our side, not only for some of the skills they might bring. I might joke a little bit about TikTok and things like that, but they certainly are more cutting edge than a lot of folks, probably most folks in this room.
John?
Are you putting your hand up as a TikTok guy? Okay.
I hate TikTok. That young lady is actually interested in anything major we're doing, whether it's the solar panels or waste or anything, so, yes.
Yeah. And we had, in another committee about a year ago, we did have a couple of seniors that were not members, they were liaisons, I guess would be the best term, and they were very good to have in those kinds of meetings, and reasonably well attended in terms of their ability to make the meetings. Final thing, we talked a little bit about our local compost company, Renewal Compost, has now set up a program to do home pickup of compost for somebody that doesn't want to do their own for a fee. And they pick up every other week, and they will come to your house. And he's his current rate, which I'm not gonna discuss in an open meeting, but his current rate is subject to reduction if he can build a larger at-home customer base. But it's my understanding he's got about 10 or 12 customers in town now where he's going to their residence every other week and doing a pickup at their house. This has application, I think, for folks that live in multifamily dwellings, apartment buildings, condos, that type of thing, that might be, again, early adopters and want to get into the reposting or composting, see an advantage. Also might have, we have a lot of two-income families in Londonderry and perhaps don't have the time to do this themselves, but want to get involved in something like that. So we'll see if we can work with him to help him expand his business without crossing that line between our being a public company and his being a private company. So that's it. We've set our schedule with Kirsten for the rest of the year, so we're in good shape.
And when you mentioned going to Max, it reminded me that Max is trying to start a small restaurant. And that broadened my thought to, aren't restaurants a perfect place to consolidate food waste?
Yeah, yeah.
They may not want additional, though.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know the mechanics of how you run a restaurant, but the food waste is there. I mean, there may be some way you have to segregate it a little bit, but somebody comes and picks up restaurants' food waste, I assume.
They do. Janie's is
Yeah.
a member of this guy.
Yeah.
He picks up from Janie's, so.
That seems like a logical place to look.
I talked to the owner at Max briefly about this right around Christmas. And he doesn't have a ton, despite all the fact that they can't really use the apples that fall off the trees. Once they hit the ground, they're waste product. Because he has animals, and they feed all of that to the animals that they have. Okay, so, but you're right, Mike, restaurants do have a ton of food waste that they put out, and he has to do something with it. So that, even though that's a little downstream in terms of when his restaurant hopefully will be in business for him, it might be a good conversation to have now.
Yeah, but maybe they talk to Janie's
Absolutely.
and see if we could, glom onto whatever they're doing. Just a thought.
Yep.
John, going back to your comment on public outreach for septic systems, that's another one of those topics that the stormwater dovetails nicely over across. So that first link in that email that I sent you this morning, that first link on the top of that, that'll take you kind of to the main resources page of the stormwater, and there are several septic system maintenance education pieces. So another spot for you to look as you're considering public outreach.
It's kind of interesting, James, because there seems to be, in terms of how frequently someone should have their septic tank serviced, there seems to be tremendous divergence of opinion on, depending on who you're talking to.
Based on my experience, it's a function of how much you use it. So 2 old people every few years. If young family of 4, maybe every year.
Yep, absolutely.
It's all about the throughput.
I can never get further than a couple of feet away from dog waste. Now we got another topic for me
Full
to think
circle.
about.
All right. We'll move on to.
I wanted to
go
ask,
ahead. James.
you aware of the septic study that the town did 3 or 4 years ago, identified the most at-risk septic fields in town?
I am not, but
I can get that information. That was that was done right before I started, but I actually remember being at the council meeting as a resident when they presented it, and that definitely came up again. And it came up again in some of the strategic plan conversations.
Good.
So it's definitely finding that information and figuring out what to do with it is back on our radar. Again, not going to be an instant process, but it's definitely back there. Just I'll make sure I get it to James because he understands it way more than I do.
Comprehensive environmental, the studies are done, they're in planning.
Yeah.
Good, okay. Now we'll move on to cable and internet.
Okay, a couple of quickie things. So since our last meeting, I've been in conversations with the technical service director. And maybe some of you might have got notices, I know different people did. You may have an outage today. We don't know how long it's going to
But
take.
they were just here about 2 months ago.
They've been on my
So they're
street
back again.
three
Three
of the
times.
last 4 weeks.
Oh, how nice for you.
Not really. I'll tell you why. The reason being is the end of Gordon Drive and Next Spring Road is in between the old head-in site, so there is a lot of communication stuff there. And I have the equipment to check it, and I know if something's getting worse. So the good news is they've been working on it. They are aware of a problem. The bad news is Sunday night at 1:32 a.m.
In the morning.
Yeah, there's a reason why you do it that time.
Did you-
I did a test, and it took 6 minutes and 12 seconds to change the channel.
Oh, dear.
So I reported that. So I don't know what's going on. It's a little frustrating. We're going back and forth. I like that they respond, and I know there's other people. Now that we've gotten advertisements of what we do, they know how to reach out, so still working on that. Okay, part 2 is, Madam Chairman asked me if I could put together a little ditty about cable. And I ran it by our Sean, and he said, I don't see no problem with doing
Is
that.
this a little song you're gonna write on a guitar?
Yeah, a
and-
little ditty about Cable and Diane, yeah. So, I have to be very careful. It's just gonna be an information sheet. I wish I could get a little further along, but it's been kind of busy. Basically, it's just gonna be an intro to some people that they don't understand there's a difference between internet and cable access. That there is a difference between direct connection, satellite, and streaming. The next thing I'll jump into as we get past that is web pages that list offerings and hot links so they can go there themselves. So basically, here are the different web pages you can go to find information about what this means. What is old style cable? What is fiber? What if they claim they're fiber but you're still on Xfinity? It's not fiber. So things like that, so it's an information sheet. So I'm gonna put that together. I'll start the document. I will call a cable meeting. I was thinking about doing it over Zoom, but I don't think we're allowed to do that, right, Kristen?
You are.
We are.
You just have to follow the rules, but yeah.
Okay, well, it's up to the cable committee, which we have never met, but it would be a short one. Maybe I was thinking maybe a half hour before this meeting to make it easy for everybody. But let me get working on that and try to get something out within the next 3 weeks, okay?
Okay.
And one other thing, there is one company building fiber in New Hampshire, Vermont, and Massachusetts, and I'll have more information on that.
And you think fiber's the best?
Oh, heck yeah. Speed-wise, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. Fiber's the way to go.
Okay.
You're not talking about Fidium then?
Yes, I am, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly who he's talking about.
That's exactly what I'm talking. I am surprised. I thought it was more of a marketing thing, but they did give me a pretty senior level person. I've asked for somebody a little more senior level, and it really is. But there are some legalities I'm not gonna mention here that I've already mentioned to Sean, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Okay, basically, we have a company that pays a franchise fee. Yeah, think about that. So, I just gotta tread carefully on that.
How much faster is fiber than?
You can, if you buy business internet from Xfinity, you may get up to what, 600 megabytes per second or something like that. Fiber can give you up to 2,000. Remember, the internet runs at a set speed. What they do is they throttle it down, and you pay less for your home service. They can charge you more to get the faster speed. And it's partly to do with switching and allocation and stuff like that.
Okay.
Okay? That was a real sticking point back in the 80s. where they started doing that, a bunch of us from New Hampshire and Massachusetts went down to see Markey and said, no, this is not right. The whole idea is this is public access. It's even gotten worse because now with kids at home learning from storms and stuff like that, crap, my math teacher just paused out for 15 seconds. What formula is she talking about? That kind of stuff does not work. Okay?
With fiber, you have a dedicated line not shared by others.
Basically, yes.
Okay.
Well, I'll let people look at the prices, but for a lot less. I'll just say that. Yeah.
Fiber's not cheap.
No, it's not.
I'll tell you that right now.
Right. But I'll give you a comparison. In 1982, Comcast with cable service, with all the channels, was $136. The same thing right now is almost $380.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't work. So. Welcome to economies of scale.
And lack of competition.
And lack of competition. As they all claim, the competition is this, the competition is that. The good thing is, when I do this report, you're going to see that the satellite services now provide internet. Before with satellite service, you couldn't get internet, okay? And it's pretty decent speed. And it is susceptible to lightning storms, that won't change. And solar flares, that won't change, but that's very rare, so. But nothing falls on a tree, no trees fall on them. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, John. Okay, now we're down to roundtable discussions, so I'm gonna ask, each of you, if you have anything to add. John?
I'm all set.
You're all set. Ron?
Good.
Ray?
Hi.
Hi.
I could have a lot to say, but I think, you know, we're moving forward, a lot of good things happening, okay? We had the water town hall,
Yep.
that's good. But I think we have a lot more work to do in regards to water in particular.
We do.
And we need to take advantage of those that can help us. How many state reps do we have in this town? 6? 7? 7.
7.5.
7.5.
And they are representing us, and we should have discussions with them. And then we have others that can really help us out, too. We have people that go to Washington. Mr. Pappas, that has done a lot for the town of Londonderry, and others. We have Jean Shaheen. We have Maggie Hassan. They're all working for us and the whole state. But they're aware of the situation here in Londonderry in regards to contaminated water. And I think we need to have discussions with them directly. And that would include the governor. So I think we just need to take advantage of that.
I can just tell you, Ray, that those discussions are already in progress.
The discussions
But
are
are they
what?
in progress with us?
They're in progress with the town manager and myself.
Okay. And could you
Stay tuned.
kind of let us know what's going on?
Yeah, I'll keep you updated. There's congressional things we can apply for and that kind of stuff. We're doing all that.
Do you think we should do anything in that regard?
Sure, I don't think more help the better.
Right.
I mean, I'm
Well,
not
I
gonna.
think that,
not gonna take
we can certainly write letters.
Yeah.
There you go.
And
There you
point
go.
out that, you know,
I
to
think,
discuss the.
I think at our next water meeting,
We should discuss that.
we have that discussion.
Yeah, we
agree.
talked about it. You were gonna put together some thoughts.
I put together a lot of things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay?
But-
We don't have time to talk about it now.
No, but I
But we
think,
have
Yeah.
time to talk about it at the
I
water.
think we should
Absolutely, yeah.
consider definitely drafting some letters directly to these
Absolutely.
people and, yeah.
You
So
know-
I'm on board with that, and I'm sure that we'll do
Yeah,
it
Ray, I
at
can
our
also
next
tell you
water
that
meeting.
Maggie Goodlander, who is not our rep directly,
Yep.
but I have personally spoken to her and she's willing to help us any way possible.
Great.
Well, that's good.
So
Yep,
Let's
Well,
take advantage
works are
of
in the
that,
wo-
too.
they're in the works.
We also have somebody up in Concord. No, Manchester. Mr. Stevens.
Mhm. So-
He represents this district, too, does he not?
He does.
Okay.
yep.
We need to take advantage of all those folks.
He's not gonna help us. Okay,
No, that's it.
Mike. Oh, John?
Just a question, because this has come up before, Ray. Would it make sense, Ron, for you to perhaps report back to this committee, and report might not be the right word, you know, the conversations that have taken place that you're allowed to share? You know, for example, you know, maybe you've got a commitment from Maggie Goodlander or from Chris Pappas to do something or to support something, or maybe somebody said that it couldn't help, particularly where, you know, we've got elections and things coming up, and it might be helpful for us to know that and to put it in one of our meetings.
Absolutely.
Thank you. That'd be very
Great.
good and valuable.
I just want you to know they are willing to help us.
Yes.
I think there's
They are-
nothing wrong with
They-
inviting one of them to come to one of our meetings.
Well,
We
that,
just have to see
that could be a
That's-
stretch,
that's
Ray.
a
That could
little-
be.
We just have to actually see some money coming out of
Yeah.
Washington.
Ron,
Yeah.
I love you. You know I love you, right? Okay? They're willing to help us.
John, microphone, please.
How?
They are willing to advocate for us and actually put their name on congressional spending and to get money for us.
All right, so then the ball is back in your court. What have we asked them to do? And what have they done about what we've asked them to do? Where is it gone? Besides you
I-
making me feel good because they're
Nope.
willing to help us.
At the next meeting, I'll tell you all the things they have done for us in 2025 and all the things that we're talking about for 2026. How's that?
Okay.
Excellent. Mike?
Just a couple of things come across in my reading. Every 2 years, DES does a report on solid waste and tries to get a measurement, and it's tricky, of what percentage of the waste stream is going to the landfill and what percentage is being recycled. The last report they just released covers, I think, 2022 to 2024. The statewide average was 17% recycling.
Really?
Yeah,
That's it?
that's it. And it was in the period 2020 to 2022, I think it was around 19 or 21%, somewhere in there. And in the period before that, it was a few percentage points more. So
So we're
the
declining.
point is, we're moving in the wrong direction.
Right.
So I'm not on that committee, but I'm really grateful that we're doing everything we can. And, you know, the more imaginative and thinking out of the box we can be, I think the better. The second thing, and I probably need some advice, Kristen, on this one. New Hampshire Public Radio has released I think it's a 4-part series of podcasts called,
I don't remember what it's called, but the,
Safe to drink. I just
Yeah.
looked it up.
yes, but the
Yeah.
young man who was working on that
Right
was the
here.
one who wrote the article and was at our town hall.
Yeah, you.
So
Got a
he
lot
did a
of
lot of
town hall.
recording, so
oh,
he wrote a brief article on it. My thought is that we're also, I haven't talked to him about it yet, but there's a chance we're going to feature on another episode of that podcast because he did a lot of interviews. I know he talked to Ron, he talked to me, he talked to Jeff, he talked to Ray, talked to tons of people.
Talked to a lot of residents too.
Yeah, so there's a good chance that we're going to be the next
Yeah.
episode of that podcast. I'm not sure, but yeah.
so the question is, can we find a way to make that more accessible to the residents of Londonderry?
Yeah, sure.
Is that appropriate to advertise on our webpage?
That
or-
is an appropriate source that we could link to. It's New Hampshire Public Radio. It's a nonprofit. It's,
Right.
and particularly because they covered us as part of that series.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
starts
Yeah.
right out there in High Range Road. I mean, how can you get any closer than that?
Yeah. Reaching back out is also on my list of things to do. So.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
That would make a big difference, getting that information, all of his podcasts up on our website, town website. There's a lot of information. Excellent job.
Jeff?
So we talked about this a couple times last year and the year before about doing outreach and public access videos and talks. haven't really talked about it since before Thanksgiving at least. But I think it's something that this group can do. I think it's something that we have, obviously we have a lot of talent and a lot of very diverse talent.
Oh, well, we've talked about it. We have
Talked about it a
Mindy
lot,
coming
yeah.
here March 5th
No, I'm talking, well, yes.
to discuss the
Yeah,
whole
yes.
issue of water. That's, and we have her presentation. We've talked about trying to get that up on the website.
So your
So,
point is,
like,
So,
we're
continuing, I think it's something that we had talked about it. I talked to several individuals that had ideas that they might want to do. I still think that would be a great thing to do, and I would be, I have some bandwidth to help get it started. I can't do all of the work, but if we want to get it started and we want to get a couple people that have something that they want to say and they have a voice on utility or cleanliness issues or PFAS or cable.
Lynn and I had talked about doing the thing about aggregate, and he's doing that now.
Absolutely, recycling.
What he's saying is we gotta do more, we can't stop.
Yeah, lots of opportunity, and we can sit and talk to ourselves, and there's a lot of good work that we're getting done. But at the end of the day, if we can, we had the outreach last week, and one good piece of outreach, we've got 50 or 100 people 50-ish people that want to help, and if we had 10 times the outreach that we have now, we could have more people helping. And what do they say? Many hands make a light load. So. I'm saying to us as a group that I think that that's something that we should do, that we can do. I think it would pay dividends, and we talked about it a lot this last year
Yes.
and didn't get anywhere with it really. I'm advocating for it again. If people want to engage and roll up their sleeves and get involved again, I would be more than willing to help facilitate the first step in the interview and help organize stuff.
Yeah.
And again,
It's a really good idea.
yeah, and the last time we did it with Mr. Malaguti, it's a lot of fun. It's shockingly fun to do like a little podcast in the cable room.
Until your monitor goes down with all your questions.
That's true.
Mr. Positive.
So, yeah, I think it's something that'll be, it's a lot of fun, it's effective, it communicates to the town, and it makes our mission easier. So,
And by the way, in that regard, Joey and I, when we went to the high school, we did bring that up. And I also talked to one of the teachers that has a class at the video center.
Nice.
Okay? But we discussed about whether there be possibly any students that would like to be involved in not only running the machinery, but also being involved in environmental issues, water issues, whatever we're putting forward. And so I think we're gonna continue having that discussion with the high school.
We are.
excellent.
That's just a question. The girl, the woman who was doing the piece, I think she's writing a piece for the newspaper.
Probably, yeah.
Is there a way we can get copies of that
I
newspaper
think they're
article that
online.
she-
I think
they're
they're published
online
online, yeah.
Yeah, the Lancer Spirit is,
yeah.
the Lancer Spirit is just an online publication. They don't do
Oh, it doesn't come out
paper.
in paper anymore.
No, not anymore.
Bummer. I used to go over there and pick it up when my daughter was writing for us.
Conservation, dear.
I know,
Yeah.
I know, save the trees. I agree.
By the way, I spoke to a mother today
Oh,
that has a son at the high school, okay? I think he's a football player, maybe, And I'm going to talk to her further to see if she can talk to her son, to see if he would be interested in anything, or knows anybody over at the high school that might be interested. We need to have these conversations. And by the way, the mother is very much interested in this whole water situation. She lives on a road here in the town of Londonderry that the water goes right by her house. She also has a contaminated well, and she's like, what should I do? I said, you should talk to the engineering department here in Londonderry, and I would suggest you also maybe talk to somebody at New Hampshire DES. So I gave her that information, and she's gonna follow up. But these are the conversations we need to have with the general public.
So, yeah, Jeff, so really,
Sorry.
I would love to be a part. What I need,
It's yours.
I need a deadline where you're telling me, Joy, you're gonna be doing a video April
Right.
5th.
That's what I
Joy,
just said.
April 5th, we're going to be convening the first Saturday in April, or the first Tuesday in April. No, second Tuesday in April.
So I'm wondering if could you, with those of us who are interested, would one of the first steps for you to do, would you mind giving us due dates on things?
So it's interesting you say that, because Martha had just said, Jeff, I think we should, instead of asking for volunteers, we should give assignments. And I said, Martha, that's a great idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that we should discuss, if not right at this meeting, but at our next meeting.
This is the February
This is my
14th
thought,
meeting.
that we should have a utility program. And then, like,
Utility
whether it
March.
is once a month or every other month, we should have a topic, and one of the subcommittees should take a topic and fly with it. And they can pretty much have free reign of how they want to set it up, what they want to do to it. But I think that there's enough interest, and there's enough going on in town that when, and I don't know how many people it is that tune into the cable station, but I know that people do, because I've done it. And there's times when it's just kind of rolling a picture or something. So it would be wonderful if you could have these rolling shows that would really be informative about what's going on with the utilities in town, because I think it's an important issue and it hits almost everybody's pocketbook.
Right.
So I'd like to see that come to fruition this year. That would be a good thing for all of us to think about.
I'd like to ask Ron a question in regards to, I know you and Sherm Packard and who's our other,
Sharon?
Sharon Carson.
no, other. Anyway,
Doug
you got
Thomas.
a million
Doug
people.
Thomas.
Doug Thomas had something at the cable center. Talking about, I guess, what's going on up to Concord. Okay. Is that something you plan on doing in the future? And perhaps the topic could be more direct about Londonderry, maybe about water issues, electric issues, whatever. Is that possible?
Sure.
Okay. And
We
maybe
can do anything.
let us know, maybe
Yeah.
your schedule.
Yeah.
14th, we're gonna meet.
Okay, I think I gave him an assignment.
Yeah.
But I want this to be our show, Ray. I don't want this to be Concord Connection.
Yeah.
I want it to
her
be
show, yeah.
Oh,
us.
okay.
It's going to be Breslin Connection.
There you go. Thank you for
Produced
Ray
by
show.
Ray Breslin.
Yep.
Okay.
I can definitely-
It's going to be the Ray Breslin experience.
John, do you have anything else you want
Real
to talk
quick,
about?
and this is for John, it's out of my scope, it's about waste and stuff like that. So I've learned a lot from you guys, and as we were driving down the road, my wife, who listened to a lot of our conversations, said, look at that, it's recyclable and it's got bags stuck on top of recyclable. And I'm thinking, that costs the town money. And we went a little further, and there's a kitchen chair stuck in the green container. Is there anything we can do? I mean, I don't want to overstep the bounds, but I would love it if Waste Management just put out a notice and said, if you're in violation, we're not picking it up.
They don't.
They can. It's up to the driver. They evidently have some kind of a ticket. That's the wrong word for it, because that makes it sound like there's a fine, but they can leave a note.
Yeah, it's
On
a
a-
sticker.
on a
It's a,
can.
it's a yellow
Yeah.
8.5 by 11
Yeah,
sheet.
yeah.
And they just check off where you screwed up.
Yeah, they can do that, but you gotta keep in mind too.
They're
and
busy.
We're new with this fellow from Waste Management we're working with, but, those drivers are on a schedule.
Yes, half
They're
of them are on
shooting
the
down
truck.
the street,
Yeah.
and you notice they don't get out of their trucks anymore. They
No,
have the big
right.
arms that
That's
that
it.
dump
Correct.
everything, so, it's a little tough for them.
I was just wondering.
had suggested at a solid waste meeting several years ago about a great summer job for some of our youth, okay?
Oh, to ride on the back.
Might be to walk down the street with a book of, now, Mike, I know you're thinking Scarlet A, we're not gonna do that, okay? But walk down the street with something that they could put on a trash can, friendly reminder okay? That you shouldn't put that chair on
is
top
how
of the
you run a
can,
trash
and
can.
you should put plastic bags, and just start to put it. Now, it could be some outrageous color or something, so all the neighbors see, but, you know, something like that. That got swatted down as one of John's lefty ideas about policing the trash in town.
Yeah, but it costs, so
That's
it
the
bothers me
only way to
because
do it.
it wrecks the machinery, the process machinery, it
does.
stops the process, and it costs us money.
Yes, it does.
But, okay, I just thought, is there anything we could do? That's it.
You know what?
Well, I think it's,
March behind me.
yeah,
okay?
no, I think it's important that we.
That's a TV
you know,
show
we
there.
We keep that on the
Yeah.
front because
I
that
can
is,
see it coming.
it's a consistent, that's a consistent issue.
So the cable show,
issue,
all right,
yeah.
listen up, all you people who are, okay.
My observations in the neighborhood is they go after the consistent abusers. Those who do it on a consistent basis,
Yeah.
not
Need a
the
trash
one
can.
Well,
time.
they are the abusers.
Not the one time.
Yeah, there's always someone.
Continue to do it.
By the way,
Also the ones that put the trash container facing the wrong way.
Oh, that's bad.
by the way, in the engineering department, there are flyers explaining what can be put in,
And on the web. Yep.
okay? And
Elevators
it would be
here.
nice
Yeah.
if somehow those could be sent out, or at least put in a public place where somebody could pick them up. You know, once again, it's about public education.
Okay.
All right, next, I'm done.
Anything, do you have anything else that you
That's
want to
it.
add?
That's it.
That was it. Okay. Ann, do you have anything?
I'm good.
No, good. Paul?
Just a quick comment, with the aggregation process, there'll be a lot of outreach coming out very shortly and all of that, so I don't know how much you want to push out, how fast, but just keep in mind that's coming, and
Well,
we do want people to focus on it.
there is going to be a filming that's going to be on cable this Thursday. That will be done, and then March 7th is going to be a public meeting, and we hope that we get a lot of people there, and that 10 o'clock in the morning has me nervous, but we hope that it will be very good.
We had, I live in a 55-plus community, we had a meeting of all our unit owners,
Yeah.
and I mentioned this concept. They're absolutely thrilled. They're like, how do I sign up? You don't.
Excellent.
What do I need to do?
Nothing.
Excellent.
They're like, who designed this?
Did you
Well,
tell
they're-
them you did?
No. I
Oh,
said,
you
there's a
should've.
utility committee for the town of Londonderry, and this is
This is what we
something you're
do.
about to see. So I said, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. So it was very well received.
Excellent, excellent. And that's a great place to spread the news. Joy,
I am all set.
all set? I'm all set. So
One
with
thing
that-
before we go.
What- yes.
This is something that we're going to be reminding all the committees of. These are public meetings and they do get recorded, and in a lot of cases, people use them for minutes. I just have to remind everybody to please speak into the microphones and keep them near us when we're speaking. Feel free to lean back when you're not, but if you're this far away from the microphone, and especially if you turn your head, they're not really going to hear you. So please just be cognizant of the people who do watch this at home later.
And if you sit over there, they can't see you.
That's why John sits, that's why John is still sitting over there. So,
Okay. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I have a motion by Jeff. Can I have a second? Second by Mike. Thank you very much, and with that, we're adjourned.